Desiree with theastrologyaddiction.com, and thank you so much for watching. Today's video is going to be on the forecast and predictions for April of 2020. I will be going over the transits that we're going to experience and how this can affect your individual zodiac sign. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and please leave your feedback below in a comment. And if you are interested in booking a reading with me, my link is in the description box. So I'll get started with the first transit that we're already getting into, Saturn square Uranus. This is starting here already like the end of March, so it's going to be intensifying from Aquarius to Taurus. It actually will be a transit that we'll be experiencing over the next 2 years. So this is really speaking to breaking apart the structures that we have and reevaluating things. A lot of the systems that are in place in our society will be restructured and remade and kind of rebuilt from the ground up. That is something that definitely speaks to the economic situation that we have going on currently and the challenges that we're facing, globally, with some of the businesses, flights being canceled and most businesses just having some economic trouble right now. The economy is definitely taking a turn over the next few months, and a lot of it does have to do with the pandemic and the halt of business and travel. So this definitely is starting to stir a lot of that up. I think the pandemic itself is more Pluto and Saturn that had really brought that up back in January and intensified that over the transit of Mars and the South Node coming through Capricorn as well. But the Saturn-Uranus conjunction will definitely be something that will continue to break apart structures and establishments and governments and corporations, and just changing the way that organizations and these establishments do business and how they're taking for granted their employees or the customers, the clients. They're not really looking out for their best interest. It's sort of like now is the time to answer to Saturn and make these big changes. So on March 31st, Mars will conjoin Saturn in Aquarius at 0 degrees. So Mars will finally be out of Capricorn. So some of you Capricorns will definitely feel a little bit lighter coming into April as Mars leaves your sign. And Jupiter will be there with Pluto. Mars conjunct to Saturn in Aquarius. This will start to, for you Aquarius people, feel quite uncomfortable. Maybe can bring some fighting or some challenges to you in your personal life. On April 4th, then Pluto and Jupiter will be conjunct in Capricorn, and I think this speaks to a magnifying glass and sort of an exaggeration on the current trauma and tragic things that have been going on. I think this will definitely make that a lot bigger. The pandemic, some of the economic issues, the challenges that we've been going through, but I think it can also bring some positivity into this. Maybe there will be some of these stimulus packages passed and some money distributed around that time, April 4th, because Jupiter is a benefic, and with Pluto, it will definitely exacerbate and make larger the difficult issues that are going on, but it can also potentially bring some positivity. It kind of makes me think of maybe a debt being owed and potentially just magnifying toxic things that are under the surface. But hopefully the debt that is owed is going to be something that will help us move forward into this Aquarian age. It does sound as though the worst, part of the pandemic is coming to a peak, and then hopefully will pass through April. But we're definitely not through the worst of the economic issues. The economic issues will be something that will continue. I think the plague in April will be its biggest time here in the US. I'm going to put in a photo here of an image that I got from the astrology podcasts. This is from the archetypalexplorer.com, and this shows in a graph how the transits of Mars, Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter are all going to come to a climax and then start to settle down. So this is a great visual. Definitely check out the archetypalexplorer.com for further information. Now on April 3rd, we also have Venus going to Gemini. She will actually be trying to Saturn in Aquarius, and to Mars in Aquarius. So this is going to bring some more communication. I think at this time we might have some ability, hopefully, to get out of the house and communicate with our friends, our family. If not, it will maybe, intensify that frustration of not being able to communicate with people on a personal level. So I think there will be some news potentially that comes to light around that time. On April 7th, we have a full moon in Libra, and she is loosely square to Pluto and Jupiter in Capricorn, but this is definitely a time of social enlightenment. We're maybe coming to realizations about, wow, can we go this long? Some people will start to feel lonely and alone and probably a little bit sad about being stuck in the house for so long if we are still on lockdown by April 7th. So I think that will definitely magnify some of the challenges of being separate and not being social. Saturn in Aquarius definitely is a perfect example. The situation that's going on where we are distancing ourselves from people socially, that is a perfect Saturn in Aquarius manifestation, and it's really interesting to see that. On April 11th, Mercury will go into Aries, and this will bring about maybe some difficult news, maybe some fights. There could be some political challenges coming up. Mercury brings news and brings information, and in Aries it is pretty quick to speak. We might have some news coming out that is conflicting. Maybe the doctor's saying one thing, the leadership of the country is saying another thing. I could see that being something mid-April that comes about, right before Easter time. Now on April 19th, the sun will go into Taurus, and this is coming into contact with Uranus in Taurus. So we are starting to get a little more comfortable with our routines now. I think with the change of pace, maybe we are starting to feel like we're on a routine at our home, but coming to contact with Uranus will still bring some unexpected things and some challenges that we still have to face at that time. And then on April 22nd, we have the new moon in Taurus, and this will ask us to start fresh, start a new project, start a new journey. So I think over this next month, we really have time to plant our seeds and get our projects rolling while Venus is in Taurus. And once we get that new moon in Taurus, it's going to ask us, what have we been working on? Have we been making use of this time at home, this time in solitude, this time alone? Or have we just been watching Netflix and sitting on the internet doing nothing, creating nothing? The new moon on April 22nd is going to ask us what we've created. How will this all affect your individual zodiac signs? Aries, I think Aries are going to be further challenged with the Pluto and Jupiter. There may be some money coming in because, again, it speaks to that debt being owed, and Jupiter and Pluto are square to Aries. So you may have some news or something coming in about money. It could be positive or negative. Hopefully people are starting to collect their unemployment. Maybe they're getting their jobs back, or maybe they are hearing news about some new jobs that they might have been applying for. The full moon in Libra is also going to illuminate something in their relationship, maybe an issue that they've been having with a partner, or even just the love for their partner can be something that they're focusing on at that time. Definitely is something that is going to be important around April 7th. Now Taurus, you are going to be feeling a little bit of challenges right now because Mars is going to move into Saturn, which will square your sign, and so that can bring some maybe arguments in the home, with family, with siblings, with children. You want to be cautious at the end of March and early April that you are being sensitive to your family members and to yourself as well, making sure you are taking great care of yourself during this mess and not putting other people before you. Once the sun goes into Taurus on April 19th, you will probably feel a spike of energy, maybe some insight, some enlightenment, because the sun's going to be with Uranus there. So you can feel some creative energy, or maybe just a spike of ambition. And when the new moon comes on April 22nd, that will illuminate maybe what you have been working on and what you've been putting your effort into. It can be like a recognition for that. Now Gemini is going to be feeling pretty good during this time. You will have Saturn and Mars trine to your sign, so it can feel a little bit less prodding and uncomfortable and more encouraging. On April 3rd, Venus will go into Gemini as well, and so this will make you feel probably more connected to people. Maybe you will feel more positive, more creative, more peaceful, and it's definitely a good month for you to connect with someone, maybe have a new relationship start. Maybe you're meeting someone online, or you are further deepening a connection with someone that you have, especially by April 7th, when the new moon or the full moon is in Libra. That will be trying to your Gemini placement as well, further asking you to make some connections. Now, Cancers, you are still definitely going through it with all of this energy in Capricorn opposing your sign. I think the worst part is going to be over by March 31st when Mars moves into Aquarius, and you'll feel a little bit easier. That Pluto and Jupiter opposition, I think for you, is going to be a little bit easier and better, probably bring some gifts, bring some and possibly money to you, or bring some good fortune to you. This will happen on April 4th. And again, I think the worst part is over for all of you. The North Node in Cancer is still going on right now, so you are still the highlighted area, and people are wanting to nurture their family, they're wanting to nurture their creative hobbies, and it's going to definitely feel a little bit easier for you come April. You will probably still be feeling a little bit lonely during this time though, so make it a point to connect with people, speak with people, call your family and friends, and don't just succumb to isolation and loneliness. Make an effort to reach out to people if you need help. Now, Leos, you're going to definitely feel some difficulties this month because Mars is going to be entering Aquarius and opposing your sign in Leo. So you could have maybe someone, frustrating you, maybe your siblings or your partner or your family members, your dad, your mom, whoever you live with can, put some type of a pressure on you. Maybe you are working on something, and they want you to do some chores every day, and you're not able to be creative. So, definitely work on communicating with them the importance of your creativity during this time, so that they're not feeling like you don't feel them watching over you or imposing on you in any way. This month is going to be about balance for you, and finding that balance between responsibility and between what you're creating and your creative hobbies. Now, Virgo is having a bit of an easier month this month because we don't have too many planets in hard aspect to Virgos. So I think if anything, Venus in Gemini is going to bring more positivity to you. I think maybe this month you will continue to deepen a relationship that you have, or maybe make a new relationship. Maybe you meet someone online, or just further that deep connection with someone. Since Venus is moving into Gemini. Also, when the sun moves into Taurus and trines your planet, I think you're going to feel a little bit more positive maybe than you have, and maybe you're getting into your yard work, your gardening, or your organization around the house, and it's really like a spring cleaning time for you. So I think you're feeling you're going to feel that energy to start your spring cleaning and start your projects around the house. So definitely lean into that. You don't want to get bogged down by everything else that's going on with other people. I think it's important for you to continue social distancing and maybe not not try to be social if you don't feel like it. Just lean into what you want to nourish and what you want to build in your home. Now, Libras, I think Libras, when Mercury goes into Aries on April 11th, will probably be getting some new news. Maybe you're getting news about a partnership, a relationship, a job opportunity. Around that time, you can feel maybe that urge to want to connect and want to communicate with people. You maybe are getting really sick of being in the house and kind of feeling a little stuffy. But from the full moon, which happened on April 7th, prior to Mercury going into Aries, you will have an enlightenment, I think, at this time, maybe in regards to a relationship or in regards to a situation that you've been dealing with. Maybe you are, getting a new business opportunity or having some new ideas come up around that time. When that full moon happens, it's a culmination of something you've been working on, whether it be in a partner or in a project that you have going on. But again, I think this month, definitely don't let yourself get, bogged down by the difficulties that are going around. You definitely want to focus on staying positive, not getting into a depressive state just because you don't have that just because you don't have that social connection. You know, try to focus on staying positive and not, not getting upset. Now, Scorpio, for you, I think you can definitely be dealing with some challenges this month. Maybe you're dealing with a family member who is sick, or maybe you're dealing with, a loss of a job or something like that. I think, leaning into something that you're working on or creating is going to be really positive, because once, the sun moves into Taurus on April 19th, you'll have, I think you have from now and then to really start planting the seeds and start creating things and start implementing change that you want. I think right now is a big time for change for you, and a big time that you're going to be dealing with uncertainty and just things that you don't know, you don't know the outcome, but you need to trust your instinct and trust yourself, and continue pushing forward and being as optimistic as possible during this time of really tremendous change in your life. It's not going to be something that's going to pass quickly. This will be more of an aspect, especially since Uranus is opposing Scorpio, that you're going to have to kind of adapt to uncertainty, get comfortable with not knowing what's going to happen next. Now, Sagittarius, Jupiter is conjunct to Pluto this month on April 4th. So Jupiter's your ruling planet, and I think there can be something around money coming up for you, maybe a debt that's owed, maybe someone owes you money, or you've been working for someone and they need to pay you out. So I think around April 4th you will either have that challenge come up in your mind or be presented to you in some way, or else you'll be receiving those funds. So it's a positive thing for you, and it's something that's going to be probably on the more benefic side, but it can potentially be something that is a little bit more challenging. Maybe you are having some news come to you about finances that is not favorable. Maybe you are being moved departments in your job, maybe you're getting laid off or something like that. It can definitely be something that you experience. But on April 3rd, you're also having Venus coming into Gemini, which is opposite to your sign. So this is a time that you may meet a new partner or deepen a relationship with someone. You can even just start a new flirtatious relationship with someone. Don't be closed off to that right now just because you're at home. Maybe you are alone at home, or maybe you are just with your family. Definitely don't be closed off to starting new things with people, because once the sun goes into Taurus, there may be an opportunity for you to actualize that relationship and you get together once some of this has settled down. Now, Capricorns, you of course are having some more challenges going on. I think on March 31st, once Mars gets out of your sign, you will feel a weight lifted off of you. Maybe you've been dealing with working a lot of hours, or someone in your circle really frustrating you, arguing with you, causing you a lot of strife. So the beginning of April will be more positive in regards to that, but at the same time, you'll be feeling a little bit lighter, but you may also want to change your focus onto family and on your home life and nurturing those partnerships and relationships, because the North Node is still in Cancer. So we are still being asked to stop working so much. We're being asked to let go of some of the power struggles that we deal with in our life and some of the control issues that we might have. So I think that's definitely something that's going to be really important for you to focus on this month, and finances can definitely be something that might come up as well in some way. Hopefully it's a positive thing, but there can definitely be a magnifying glass on whatever issue it is that you have kind of stirring up right now. It can be intensified at the beginning of the month, and then hopefully it will release and let up by the end of the month. Now, Aquarius, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, on March 31st, Mars will be joining Saturn in Aquarius. So you are starting, a new cycle, a new phase of responsibility. Maybe you're being given some responsibility, or maybe you're having something taken away from you at this time in the beginning of April. It can be, in the beginning, can be a month of release and letting go of things, definitely letting go of some maybe rigid ideas or ideals that you have about your life, getting a little bit more comfortable with uncertainty and not having control. Also, I think being comfortable with being around people in a social situation maybe that you haven't been in before. Aquarius, they don't always love to be suffocated by people. You know, they definitely like social connection and interaction with unique people, but they also like their solitude. So there's someone or something coming into your life that is going to be putting some pressure on you to maybe make some changes, or to, you know, release some energy that you have built up. Maybe it's resentment or anger or fear. You want to start working on, you know, releasing that this month. But you also have Venus entering Gemini, which is trine to Saturn and Aquarius. So this is going to be a positive aspect for you. You might feel a little bit more creative or wanting to connect. Maybe you are meeting, you know, a love match this month, and kind of releasing, letting go. Like what I could see this playing out as is maybe breaking up with someone in the beginning of the month, and, you know, towards the middle of the month, kind of getting into a new flirtatious type of connection with someone new. That could be how it could play out if you are, you know, newly single by the end of March. Now for Pisces, I think you are taking a little bit of a break this month. April, maybe you are on break from work, maybe you're laid off, and you're probably not too mad about it. You know, I think you're ready for some rest and for some inner peace and some self-reflection. I think April will be a month of self-reflection for you. And once Mercury enters Aries on April 11th and finally leaves your Pisces sign, I think you will feel a little bit more relaxed. I think you've probably had a lot going on as Mercury has been going through Pisces and kind of beating you up for a while. You know, maybe you've had some really difficult news coming through over the last month, or some challenges with your siblings or your neighbors, or even just family members, difficult communication with them. Maybe you've not been able to get your point across to people. I think mid-April you will start to feel more empowered and more, you know, just more calm about what's going on, a little bit more at peace and less fearful from what, you know, what's going on globally. I think you've probably been feeling anxiety and maybe depression. And now once we get into spring in April, you will probably start to feel a lot more, more positive, hopeful, and optimistic. So that is my April forecast and horoscope reading for all 12 of the zodiac signs. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, my link is in the description box. Thanks again and have a great day. Bye.